Stacey, are you there? I was just wondering if you had heard from Henry.
No, I didn't hear anything. Is anything wrong?
Well, I had plans to have dinner with Henry tonight, but he told me that he wanted to reschedule because he had other plans. So I was just checking in. I'm assuming those dinner plans were with you.
Oh, well, I didn't make anything too fancy, so don't worry about it. Please have a good dinner with him. I'll also let him know just in case.
I'm sorry for troubling you with this, dear. You know how he is. He acts all tough, but deep down he's a mama's boy.
It's a good thing that he cares about his family. Please don't worry, Mrs. Dunstan. Have a good time with him.
I was wondering about what to eat for dinner, and I guess the best option is a steak. It's been so long since we had steak. I'm sure the two of you don't dine at such luxurious places, so Henry must really be craving that.
Sure, I guess that's true.
And pardon me, Stacey, but I was wondering why you're always at work. You seem a little too busy nowadays.
Yeah. Work has been more busy than usual. I guess I have no choice, though. I have to work overtime today as well, actually.
Overtime? I guess you must really be in love with your work to be pushing yourself this hard at such a young age. If you continue to work crazy like this, you'll become a workaholic. Working every day is a little too much, don't you think? My poor Henry is going to start feeling lonely too.
I guess so. But Henry isn't working at the moment, so someone has to bring in the income. There's bills to be paid and things to buy, so there's no choice but for me to work.
I obviously know at least that much. But you can't help it, can you? He's not purposefully avoiding work. It's just that he can't, so he's unemployed.
Of course I understand that.
In that case, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're providing and earning for the family. We are also out of debt thanks to your hard work. But I don't mean to ask too much. Recently, Henry's father has been a little weak lately because of his illness. He's having trouble quitting work, but we all know that he has to quit at some point. So, about the allowance.
Are you trying to suggest that it's not enough?
We are so thankful for everything and all. But yes, it's not enough. We are family now, right? You could consider us like your parents and maybe give a little more. Could you consider increasing the allowance?
You want more allowance, but you also want to fine dine and have steak?
What does that have to do with anything? That's a whole different topic. When I last saw Henry, he was looking really thin and malnourished, so I want to treat him with some proper food. That's all. I've always been wanting to treat him to steak, so I actually cut our grocery costs down for this dinner. I've been looking forward to this date for so long.
Well, yes. I understand then. Fine, I'll increase the allowance for this month, but please don't ask any further. I'm already paying you about $3,000 a month, which is more than enough for 2 people to comfortably live on. Especially since you're living in a rural city.
But $3,000 is nothing compared to what you make. $3,000 is like a cent to you. What are you being so stingy for? I already heard from Henry that you make about $10,000 a month.
Even if that were the case, I hope you realize that I have savings and plans for the future as well. I can't use all that money just on you. Even if I make a lot, we live in the city and it's quite hard to keep up.
What are you talking about? You're still young and have your youth. What could you possibly be saving all that money for? You can always earn money.
Always earn money? Just how long do you expect me to work for?
Well, you wouldn't understand. At our age, it's getting more difficult to perform daily tasks. You should be more grateful to your elders while they're still alive. It's thanks to our generation that your generation is able to prosper and do so well.
I understand. But if you're going to go out for dinner with Henry, could you please at least have a word with him? Maybe ask him to consider start looking for work?
That's up to Henry, not me. I can't bring up work to Henry. He will get upset at me. You know that he has work trauma. My poor son had to work non-stop at that horrible company without a single break. I'm sure you know this already, though. I think he needs a little break before he starts looking for work again. He's my precious son.
A break? That situation happened 3 months ago already. He can't keep using that as an excuse to avoid looking for work forever. And what is work trauma? He was asked to do overtime like 6 times at most.
3 months is not long enough. He needs more time to recover. And I already told you before, didn't I? He's not avoiding work on purpose. It's that he can't find work. There's nothing that suits Henry in the current job market.
Why should the job have to suit him? Not everyone is working at jobs that suit them.
Well, if you're worried about him not working, then just get him to take care of the house. I don't know about suggesting to look for work, though. And while he's working on the chores, you could go do your work. Doesn't that sound great?
I don't know about that.
Trust me, Henry has always been good at chores since he was young. He loves washing the dishes and mopping the floor. I'm sure he could do at least that much to provide. And from what I heard, he's already splitting the household chores with you, right?
Did Henry say that?
Yes, he told me the other day we called. What do they call them again? House husband, was it? There's men that stay home and do the cooking nowadays, too. And my Henry is a great cook. Even if his cooking isn't good, he's a fast learner. If there's anything that you want him to do, just tell him. My Henry will learn it fast and get it done right away.
I think that actually may be impossible, though.
Impossible? What do you mean?
He does cook for me at least once a week, which is fine and all. But he leaves heaps of dishes and cutlery in the sink. At least a week's work while I'm away at work. It's honestly a nightmare to come back to that after days of working. Even if I tell him to do the laundry while I'm away, he would simply pile up the clothes near the washer and never put them in. And if I asked him to iron my blouse for a business trip, it ends up with even more wrinkles than before. It's not even that I didn't show him how. I've explained to him countless times already. One time I asked him to make a simple pasta dish and he burned our expensive pans and even left the mess as is. The place stank like smoke for so long.
That's why. You need to be patient. Those kinds of things need to be taught carefully, step by step. Henry won't understand if you just blabber it all at once. Show him those instructive videos or something. And you're his dear wife. Make sure to compliment him along the way like a child. That's the only way he'll learn and improve. And if you teach him carefully, your life will be so much easier. The load from not having to do the house chores is the best feeling ever. When I first got married, Henry's father was useless. He never helped with the household, but I would teach him small things. He slowly managed to learn. It's all about the process. You need to be more understanding with these things.
Never mind. I've already told you that I've tried many times. Even if I taught him, it's much faster if I just took care of it on my own. It's time-consuming, but I'd rather have a job well done than half-assed.
Well, if you say so. I've already suggested the best course of action. If that's the case, then you can deal with the household chores without complaining. Yikes! I didn't even realize the time. I actually have lunch plans today with some friends. We are going to a very fancy and pretty cafe in the area. We are having caviar and tea. I should probably start getting ready.
You're going out for lunch today as well? Didn't you go out for lunch yesterday? And what, isn't caviar expensive nowadays?
Oh, Oh, but that was with a different group of friends. Is there something wrong with going out twice? I'm only treating myself here and there.
Nothing. Don't mind me. Have a good time with your friends, then.
Stacy, are you busy?
No, I'm here.
That's great. I figured you wouldn't be doing anything.
I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. Did you need me for anything?
What do you mean? I thought you would have already known. We are doing a huge family party at our house for New Year's Eve. It's tradition. So we're inviting everyone and having a large party here. Of course you must come too.
Oh. No, nobody told me about this. But I'm very sorry, Mrs. Dunstan. I asked Henry to tell you that I actually have plans to visit my parents during the New Year's Eve. They haven't seen me for a while, so I'm sure they'd expect me to visit during the year end.
Oh. Wait. I think I did hear something like that from Henry. But you must absolutely come this year. Please reconsider visiting your parents. You can visit them next year instead.
I'm sorry. I've already made those plans months ago with my family. I can't reconsider, so I'll have to pass on the party this year. My parents are also really looking forward to me visiting.
Who cares about your parents? You're a part of our family now ever since you married my Henry. Don't you think it's a little rude to say no to your elders? We don't have large parties like this often. The New Year's Eve party is the only big party we throw once a year. It's Dunstan tradition for all family to come. I can't believe you already made those plans with your parents and didn't consult with us either. It's quite disrespectful.
Times have changed. I'm sorry. I understand that back then it was disrespectful to not obey your parents-in-law, but nowadays things have changed. My parents deserve to see me just as much. I'm also their biological daughter. I've also notified you previously. This is something that we've already talked about. I'm also positive that you said that you understood.
At that time, we weren't sure about the party. But we decided to have it, and we need you there. We're also much closer to you than your parents. Why would you go out that far for New Year's? I invited everyone, and everyone agreed to join the party. Should I tell them all not to come then?
Why would you go that far? It's just one person.
More than 50 people are planning to come visit for the party. All of our relatives and friends are so excited to meet you. I can't possibly go around telling them that my daughter-in-law decided to ditch us for her parents. And what about the younger cousins and friends? They're going to leave early if it's a party of just old people. Henry also will be alone. Poor Henry will be scolded for not coming with his partner. You want everyone to be disappointed.
I mean, even if you put it that way, that can't change the fact that I've already made an arrangement with my parents.
You can always visit your parents. Just save New Year's Eve for us and go spend Christmas with them. Your parents are also very healthy, aren't they? It'll be easy to meet them whenever. Henry's father is sick, and who knows? This may be his final New Year's party. We should at least let him have a precious New Year's memory for this year.
I'm not so sure. Last year, I was caught up on work and couldn't visit them for Christmas or their birthday, so they've especially missed me all year. I should at least make time and visit them this year. I've been missing my parents as well ever since I moved to the city. It's actually been more than a year since I last saw and spoke with my parents.
When I was your age and got married, I actually didn't see my parents for years. I wasn't whining and complaining like you at the time. My mother-in-law was also very strict and controlling and absolutely wouldn't let me go home during the first 5 years. I'm only asking you to be there for one party. Compared to the treatment I got, I'm much kinder and nicer to you.
But you just admitted that you didn't like being forced to not meet your parents. If you didn't like it, then how does it make any sense to put me through the same situation?
My situation was years ago, and it was for multiple years. But this year is a different case. This year may be the last year for Henry's father. You shouldn't speak so selfishly like that. Even people that we met once or twice or haven't met at all are agreeing to join the party. And you're the wife of my one and only precious son. It would be so disrespectful to not have you there.
It's just that.
Are you still not listening? If you're having trouble telling your parents directly that you want to cancel the plans with them, I can do it for you. If I ask, it'd be very hard for them to reject me. I know you want to come to the party as well.
Please don't bother with that. I can contact them myself and let them know. But I'm letting you know right now. I'm going to see my parents for Christmas and New Year's next year.
Yeah, fine, whatever. I won't ask you again, I promise. Henry's father will be so happy to hear the good news. I'll let everyone know that you're joining, and you'll help assist the party guests as well. I'll send you all the party details later. Check your phone. And make sure to check your duties as well. Don't forget to bring anything.
Okay, I got it.
There's actually some things I need to request you to buy ahead of time. Henry has been a little busy lately looking for work, so I don't want to bother him too much. And obviously, you already know, but Henry's father is ill and I can't drive, so that only leaves you. You're fine with it, right?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
All right then. I'll contact you again sometime later, closer to the party.
Got it. Bye then.
Bye! Stacy, what is this?
What's wrong?
The alcohol is not enough. We have so many guests coming, and you only bought 20 bottles. This is the highlight of the party. I wrote 45 bottles on the list. You only got half.
Actually, your list said 20 bottles, not 45. Did you make sure to write it down carefully?
How useless. Even if it said 20, you should have used common sense to tell that it won't be enough. How can I rely on you for the rest of the party? This is barely enough for our party. How embarrassing. Go back to the liquor store and get another 20.
It's impossible for me to go right now. I'm actually on the way to work right now, and the liquor store is in the opposite direction.
Work? You already know that there is a big and important party coming up, and it's work again? It's always work this, work that with you. Are you using it as an excuse to forget your promise to help me with the party? Everyone's excited and looking forward to the grand party tomorrow. There's no more time and no room for mistakes.
Well, I'm on my way to work already, so we can find out a solution tomorrow. I actually remember there being an alcohol store near the house as well. Like a 10-minute drive at most. It closes very late too, so you can easily go there and put 20 bottles in your car. How does that sound?
You're asking a frail old woman like me to go and buy all those heavy bottles and bring them back to the house myself. Do you have any common sense? What if I got into an accident along the way? Did you even think to consider that?
Well, you're the one freaking out over not having enough bottles, so doesn't it make sense to go and buy extras on your own? If that's too much of a hassle, they actually have a delivery option that you can choose instead. You don't have to carry them all back at once. It does cost a little extra, but it may be worth it.
I don't want to waste my money on a service like that.
Waste? That leaves you with no other options, though.
Of course it's a waste. We never got anything delivered in my time. It was all picked up by hand and brought back in safe condition. These deliveries nowadays aren't so careful and break everything, and you can't even hold them accountable for it. And there is an option. You promised to support the party, so you need to be responsible for your mistake and go buy more. I need you to hurry up and go buy some more right this instant.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going anywhere right now. I'm on my way to work already. I'll check if they're open tomorrow and go pick it up early in the morning. Either way, everyone is coming around the afternoon, so it doesn't matter when I go pick it up.
Tomorrow morning? The party starts tomorrow. It'd be too late by then. And did you forget? We have to spend the whole morning tomorrow preparing the dishes for the dinner. Those meals take a long time to prepare.
Didn't you say that you wanted to get Henry to learn cooking? This is the perfect opportunity to teach him then. He's been doing nothing lately at home other than watching TV and lounging around in the hot tub.
He's busy looking for work. I can't possibly burden him with additional tasks during this busy time. He isn't some kind of maid either. He's my precious son. These kinds of jobs like cooking and cleaning are originally meant for women to do.
Well, that sounds like a you problem then. I have work to do, so I can't help with that. At the very least, I'll consider buying more tomorrow morning. Today is impossible. I just arrived at work now. We'll have to talk later. Bye for now.
Excuse me. Hold on a sec. Are you even listening to me? You're not taking anything I say seriously, are you? You ungrateful woman! Stacy! Just where did you go? Everyone is already here waiting.
I was back home for a bit. My parents were very disappointed, so I thought I'd at least come back to say hi. If I leave now, I should get there in a few hours.
What crazy talk is this? Back home? I already told you that this is the most important party that we hold. How can you consider going back home at a time like this? Everyone is here waiting to be introduced to you.
There's no point for me to be there. You can take care of the rest of the party yourself. I did my fair share helping with the preparations. I want to spend this special time with my family as I had initially planned.
Stop joking around! How am I supposed to handle this whole party alone? We have to start handing out the drinks soon, and you're not even here. Are you seriously telling me to take care of this whole party alone?
Fine. Let me just get this out and over with. You're inconsiderate. I was standing all day long yesterday and today and was made to run around like a dog. When I was calling with my parents, you told me to end my call right away and start cooking. We were in the kitchen cooking nonstop with no breaks. I was on the verge of passing out at one point. Not only that, you also made me set up the cutlery, plates, and decorations all at once. Don't you think your treatment was a little inconsiderate? And after all that, you proceeded to taste the food and say that it was a little too salty or didn't taste like how your mom made it and whatnot. This party was your idea and your tradition, not mine. And I noticed that you made absolutely no effort to help with the preparations for the party that you're hosting. Even when I went to grab a drink or some food, you treated me like some kind of maid and shouted at me to get back in the kitchen and cook. It almost felt like I was being punished for no reason at all. You showed absolutely no appreciation to my generosity.
What are you blabbering on about? This is normal treatment. You promised to help support the party, and you were being lazy with small tasks that I had given you. And the woman of the household can only eat after the party guests have eaten. What are you complaining for like a little child? There's still so much left to do, and guests are starting to get angsty.
Then let me ask one thing. When I was walking around, I overheard someone compliment the cooking and you taking the credit for it. You said that you worked all day to cook all the food and that you were so thankful for their comments. You clearly knew yourself that it was a lie, though. Why did you do that?
Well, it would look bad on me if I told people that I made you do all the cooking. What's wrong with taking a little credit? I don't want to leave a bad impression on my precious guests.
So to make yourself look better, you threw me under the bus? Do you know how that feels when I was standing for hours and cooking there and all you did was waltz around and take the compliments?
Then what am I supposed to say? That I'm a lazy woman who can't handle cooking some dishes and made my daughter-in-law do everything?
But you were straight up lying to the guests? I even heard you tell them that Henry is working at a top bank. That's me working, not Henry! And what was that about that I never came home or helped with anything? You even called me inconsiderate and incapable of taking care of you. After all I've done for you guys, how could you possibly call me inconsiderate? Do you gain some sort of pleasure lying to others behind my back?
Just what do you want to say? You're always complaining about this and that and show no gratitude, so I may have ran my mouth here and there. It's just small talk. It's not serious stuff anyways. If it's your work that's so hard, I'll force Henry to look harder for a job fast. Since you're so hardworking and amazing.
Perfect. If Henry finally gets a job, I won't have to provide you an allowance anymore. It's only fair that you receive your allowance from Henry. I can finally get a break.
What? I didn't mean it like that. We have always been receiving an allowance from you, so that doesn't need to change. It's tradition. I can't possibly take money from my son. It's his hard-earned money, too. How could you even suggest such a thing?
Just how long do you plan to use me for? I'm not some kind of piggy bank to constantly take money from. It's also my hard-earned money. Could you seriously be a little more considerate?
You act like you give me so much money when all you give is small change. Others receive so much from their kids. What the hell is a mere $3K to you? I would understand your reaction if it was at least $5K a month. I can't believe I had to end up with a cheap daughter-in-law like you. You're a defect product. You know yourself that $3K is nothing, yet you're hogging on to $7K or more a month.
Wow. You just don't understand anything. It's like I'm talking to a wall.
Whatever! Just hurry up and get back! I'm wasting my time arguing with you, and I have a party to host. We're also running low on alcohol. Everyone started drinking right away. So bring some more on your way back. Bring a little extra in case, actually. We might need some for backup. I need you here in 10 minutes with the alcohol. You understand that?
I'll leave in a bit.
Stacy! Just what is wrong with you? How long are you going to make me call for?
Sorry, I was a little busy. I had some last-minute work errands to take care of.
Work errands? It's always work with you. Do you even know what you put me through? You didn't end up coming back to the party, and I had to take care of everything on my own. And now my whole body is sore thanks to you. You absolute waste of a daughter-in-law. Everyone at the party was asking me where you were. How could you not even show up? Why didn't Henry marry someone more obedient?
Mrs. Dunstan, but I'm no longer your daughter-in-law. You didn't hear from Henry?
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm no longer a part of your family. So please leave me out of your problems.
Wait! What are you talking about? Explain it more clearly. What do you mean you're no longer a part of the family? If you fought with Henry, let me know. I can lecture him a little.
That day when I was heading back to the party after you suddenly called me over, it started raining bad. I just couldn't believe that I had to leave behind my parents and rush to your place in that horrible weather for some dumb party. I ended up taking a detour to a law firm instead and immediately requested for divorce papers. And right before I moved back in with my parents, I submitted the divorce papers. Henry also gladly signed after I told him how much I was struggling with everything alone.
What? What are you talking about, divorce? And you went and did that without even saying a word to me? Why would Henry agree to something so insane?
Well, it's done now. We are no longer family, and you no longer can pester me about your events or problems. Oh, and I'm sure it's obvious, but I'm also no longer obligated to provide you an allowance. Since I'm divorced from Henry, you're just a stranger to me from now on. Henry also promised to not contact me anymore.
Hold on a second. You went to a lawyer over something that small. It was just one party. If it was that hard, you should have come and talked to me. Why would you run and get a divorce like that? Do you even know how much I went through during my marriage?
Henry and I already talked of divorce way before this party situation. I told Henry after he left his job that if he can't find another one within a month, then I would consider divorce. As much as I care about Henry, a career-driven and hardworking man is an important factor for me. Henry also apologized and said he would be fine with any decision I made. Almost 5 months passed since he left his job, and of course I couldn't wait around anymore, so I went and got a divorce.
Henry didn't say a single word to me about this. How selfish of you to do something like this without even consulting us. Do you know how hurt Henry's father is going to be?
There's no reason for me to report everything to you. It was my relationship and marriage with Henry that I decided to end. It had nothing to do with you.
Just what are you talking about? I'll never forgive you for making my son a divorced man. You treacherous woman!
Must be upsetting for you. After all those years of getting free money, this news must be shocking for you. Are you sad that you lost your precious piggy bank?
Why would that be the case? That has nothing to do with this. I'm worried about Henry. Even if he were to meet someone new, a divorce is like a red flag on his record. You just destroyed my son and my family. Henry's father might die of a heart attack from hearing this news.
You can no longer guilt trip me anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't think a divorce is the only red flag that Henry has. He doesn't work, doesn't provide, he's lazy, and the list goes on. I would be shocked if he found someone new that fast. And there's actually something that Henry has been hiding from you, but it's just frustrating me so much. He doesn't have work trauma or anything. He also wasn't forced to give up on his job. He heard about my promotion and salary and just suddenly decided not to go to work.
What the hell are you talking about? Henry wasn't able to go to work. He was mentally struggling.
No, he word for word told me that he didn't want to go to work anymore since I was making good money.
So, he just ditched his job like that?
Yes, exactly. At first, he told me that he was teleworking and stayed home all day. Then I got a call from his job and they told me about the situation. I confronted him and he told me that he didn't feel like going because of my salary. That's when I gave him the ultimatum.
Henry did such a thing. I can't believe he'd do something so reckless.
Well, there's the truth. I actually wanted to divorce him right away when I confronted him and found out the reason. But he looked apologetic, so I wanted to give him another chance to get himself together. At that time, he told me that he would try to find resolve and look for a job right away. So I gave him a month's time at most. I actually thought of waiting half a year at first, but after 5 months passed, I didn't see him finding any resolve.
It hasn't exactly been 5 months. Don't you think you rushed a little with your decision?
That's what I'm telling you. I was willing to wait at first, but after realizing no change in his behavior, I had no choice but to divorce him. I reached my limit at that point. There was only so much I could do, but waiting around for a man that wasn't going to make any effort was not on my list.
What? That doesn't count! If you considered 5 months, then you should at least give him 5 months. People need time to change.
If I had sensed even a bit of change, I wouldn't have gone as far as to get a divorce. However, there was nothing from him. Even when I brought up divorce, it was like he was ready. Henry knew it was coming. And I had more reasons. I couldn't see my parents during Christmas and other important holidays. I was starting to miss them more and more. I discussed with my parents, and they were happy to have me back home. And when I talked to my friends, they found it insane that I was also providing money to you guys, when you are clearly receiving good enough money from retirement. I even talked to Henry about all these problems, and it was as if he was listening but wasn't actually there. He gave me half-assed responses, and I couldn't see him in my life anymore.
But just how could you give up so easily? That's what marriage is. There's ups and downs. Henry's father used to beat me up all the time, but I never gave up and got divorced. We are still married and happy.
Well, that's not my idea of marriage. This is certainly not the kind of marriage life I asked for.
I lived and suffered more than you did. I never once complained.
Well, there's no reason for you to complain. You've been happily receiving $3,000 worth of small change a month while your precious son didn't even lift a finger. I'm very sure that you can function and continue on with your life even without my small change.
What are you saying?
And I also recently found out that when Henry told me that he was looking for work, he wasn't even applying to jobs. His search history was just looking at reviews of swords online. Loads of them. I mean, like, seriously? Who the hell looks up swords? Well, actually, it might make sense for a jobless loser like him, of all people, to do that. Why should I have to put up with that crap and stay married to him?
But those kinds of things are natural for men. They like weapons. Looking at that was probably a form of relaxation for him.
Relaxation? Rolling around on bed or the sofa all day wasn't enough relaxing for him. He was using my money to have a lavish life, while I had to suffer listening to your complaints. Well, I haven't even been thanked once? I don't even think I've met Henry's father. And you guys go and have steak with my money and expect me to stay quiet? I don't have to tolerate this crap any longer. I have plans to enjoy my life from now on. You're not a part of those plans.
But you don't know. Henry has some things in life that he has to sort out. He's a troubled kid.
Is he having trouble with breathing? Seems like that's the only thing he's good at doing. I've been patient enough. I wouldn't even be surprised if he forgot how to breathe.
What nonsense are you saying? That's my son you're talking about.
I don't care anymore. He's no longer a part of my life, and you're not a part of my life either.
Stop joking around. Divorce is a serious matter. This isn't something that is decided so lightly. You realize that divorce affects females more than men. Do you think any man will desire you now that you're a divorced woman?
Fine by me. I want to have an easy life with my parents and enjoy my money to myself for once. Maybe I'll travel the world. Who knows? I think I've wasted too much money up till now. I regret it too much. You always complain about how much I made. You already know that I'm wealthy enough to enjoy life alone.
We didn't take that much money from you. It was a small dent for you.
Don't forget to include Henry into the bunch as well. I paid for all his living costs. I've definitely spent more than $20,000 on your family.
What do you plan to do with Henry then? Are you kicking him out? Don't you feel even a little bad for him?
Oh, hell no. This was the house that I worked hard to buy with my savings. Luckily, I made the smart choice not to sign with Henry. He understood and packed right away as well.
Then, why are you with your parents? What happened to that house? If you're not using it, give it to Henry.
I'm renting it out. It's better than having a leech stay there. To me, you guys are all leeches who lust after money.
How dare you?
Oh, and speaking of, Henry told me that he's going to move in with you guys. Please be sure to love and care for your son. The place was a little too big for just me, so it was only smart to rent it out. I don't think you can complain about that anymore, though, since I'm no longer your daughter-in-law.
Wait! What do you mean that Henry is coming back here? I have to look after Henry's father. He's sick. I can't handle them both.
He's your son? That sounds like a problem that you need to take care of. I'm not a babysitter.
You already know that it's impossible for an old woman like me to handle everything.
Then ask one of the many friends from your party. You have plenty of guests.
What? You even took away my only source of income. I don't even make enough on retirement.
Why am I required to think about your living fees and living conditions? The many years I was married to Henry, you never once asked about my parents. I'm already planning on buying a big house for them to retire in. I can finally spend some time with my parents and help decorate our house together. I no longer have to run over to you like a dog every time you call for me. I'm looking forward to a relaxed life from now on.
What are you saying? I was never that harsh to you. We had fond memories as a family, too. Come back. These small fights happen here and there. I was only teasing you all those times. It was nothing serious. It was all for your own good.
My own good? Are you crazy?
People were saying that I wasn't being strict enough on you, so I just ordered you here and there. It's nothing serious. It's natural for mothers-in-law to order once in a while. You're my son's precious wife. You're like a daughter to me. I never took you for granted. I saw you as my child.
That's why you wanted me to cling on to you?
Of course! See, you understand. But I guess my way of expressing that was wrong. I probably shouldn't have pushed you so much during the party. You're already so successful and amazing.
Mrs. Dunstan.
So, just why don't you reconsider a little and forget about the divorce? Take Henry back. These things happen every now and then. I've had bad fights too.
No, my decision is final. I'm happy being single. I also know exactly what you're thinking. You have never once genuinely cared about me. It was my money that you wanted. Your true colors came out during the party. I'm not that stupid.
What true colors? Fine. I'll apologize for everything. Let's start fresh.
Even if I could turn back time for some reason, I would have still made the same choice.
What?
If anything, I probably would have asked for a divorce sooner, so I could have avoided paying more and wasting my time. I've made it clear, but I have no intention to return. I'm going to live for myself from now on and enjoy my life with my parents. So please take care of yourselves.
I'm begging you. Please. Just reconsider for the elderly.
That's something you should resolve with your family. I've already done my part helping your family. I no longer pity you even if you begged me or blackmailed me. Please start thinking of ways to support your family from now on. I'm no longer an option. So bye now.
Hold on. I didn't finish talking. Please, I said wait. Just hear me out a little. Please.
After a couple of months, the divorce with Henry was finalized. It was a wonderful feeling for me. I was finally able to throw away that family from my life. It is unfortunate that I can't get my hard-earned money back. But I want to be positive and think of it as a life lesson. A very expensive life lesson. But thanks to that horrible experience, I was able to move on and am freely enjoying my life. Since then, I've got another promotion and got my dream house with my parents. Henry's brother messaged me that Henry finally started seriously looking for work to earn some basic money. It turns out that he's also doing part-time as a pizza delivery driver while looking for work. He used to be a talented businessman, so it was shocking to hear that he resorted to pizza delivery. But other than that, everything was fine with them. Although Mrs. Dunstan cursed me from finding love, I was able to get in touch with my childhood friend, Sean. We talked on the phone for hours, and I told him all about my situation. After a few coffee dates, he proposed, and now we are happily engaged. My parents have one half of the house to themselves, and Sean and I enjoy the bottom floors. The setup makes it perfect to check in on my parents. I am living happily with Sean and my parents and couldn't ask for a better and more free life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.